We're going to war.
We're not going to war, but we are going live. And this is F101, episode 6 of 2026. This is the Japanese Grand Prix review. I'm the host, as always, Max. I'm joined by my war-bound co-host, Dave,
Hoorah! Go Marines!
and the increasingly sleepy Hannah.
Yeah, I salute you both.
Thank you.
Thanks. My service went really well. I already came back.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sick.
That's
Hannah
what I
was
was
the
last week.
closest. Hannah was the closest to war out of all of us because she had to go through the PSA lines.
Oh,
I
no.
did go through. I went through multiple TSA lines in 2 days.
That is
Surprisingly,
war.
the only time I saw any agents was at a pizza place at the
That's where
airport.
they like to hang out, yeah. As
Yeah,
someone who lives in Agent Metropolis, they love hanging out at 7-Elevens and pizza joints.
yeah, that makes sense. Checks out. They're looking for the Ninja Turtles.
They
Those
could be.
are illegal immigrants, if I've ever heard of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
Leonardo.
basically.
I heard they
They
came
wouldn't
from the
deport.
Stewards.
They wouldn't deport Leonardo because of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
They,
no.
But the
they
other
get
They're,
three,
confused.
the other
the
three
other
are
three.
illegal Italian immigrants.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Mario is up next, so
Oh no.
yeah, it's okay. His movie isn't doing so well, so it's fine. Anyway, let's
Yeah,
move on
speaking
here.
of Mario.
Yeah,
Speaking of
speaking of the
Mario,
Super Mario Galaxy movie, Andrew's here. Andrew's the biggest Super Mario Galaxy fan I know. He's played those games.
100% have.
That's what I'm
Nice.
saying. That's crazy that it shows that you're muted, but you still spoke. That's magic. Um,
I'm the god of
let's
the internet. I can do what I want.
It's actually crazy. It says anyway. Is it showing that he's muted for you? Anyone else, or is it just me?
anyways,
Yeah.
he's muted. I force muted him, and he's still talking over me.
That's
Screw you, Dave. I'm
that's
more powerful than
awesome.
you.
I turned his user volume all the way down, and he's so loud.
That's amazing. All right, let's get into it. Starting off, we have the standings. In first place, we have Mercedes with 135 points, followed by Ferrari with 90 and McLaren with 46. Haas still holding it strong in fourth place with 18 points, but close behind them, only 2 away. Alpine and Red Bull both tied at 16. Racing Bulls then below them with 14. Audi, Williams each with 2, and then Cadillac and Aston Martin with 0. No change in the bottom 4. Our World Drivers Championship, sorry, that has changed. Antonelli is the youngest ever to lead the World Driver Championship and coincidentally also the first teenager to do so. He leads with 72 points ahead of Russell with 63, who is ahead of Leclerc with 49. That's your top 3. Hamilton with 41, and then the McLaren duo, Norris at 25, Piastri at 21. Behrman with 17, still leading the midfield. Gasly 15, Verstappen 12, Lawson 10. That's your top 10. And then Lindblad with 4, same as Hadjar. And then Bortoletto and Sainz with 2. Ocon and Colapinto with 1, and everyone else, Hulk, Albon, Bottas, Perez, Alonso, and Stroll with a big goose egg for now. So that is our standings as we go into a 5-week break. Uh, as a reminder, the Bahrain and Saudi Arabia Grand Prix have been canceled. They've been called off due to the war. And that's 5 weeks. There's no racing in April. There's no Formula One in April. So it's all happening in May. And it'll be in Miami. So that's 5 weeks off, 3 weeks off for us.
Coincidentally, the first week back from the war break is in the country that's at war.
Yes, but the country that's at war has way more money than the country that's in war.
Also, to be clear, the countries that we're skipping aren't at war.
No, they're not, but
They're just next to it.
they're next to the war, and at least Bahrain has been struck, I believe.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Bahrain definitely has. I think somewhere in Saudi Arabia might have been. But I
I
don't
don't think it
know.
was Jeddah though. Unless you're talking about 3 years ago when there was a missile strike at the circuit, 15 kilometers or whatever away from the circuit, and they still raced. But we talked about that at length last time, so or whenever. But yes, we'll be in Miami, and we'll see what happens. Uh, but before then, we got to talk about Japan. No matter what you do, here's the lesson to take away from the Japanese Grand Prix. No matter what you do in life, there's always a kid, there's always a child out there who's doing it better than you are. And that is, you can be a great driver, but Kimi Antonelli is doing it better than you. And right now, that is the case for all of these drivers.
You know what? If I see Kimi Antonelli on 695, it's on site. I'm gonna outrace him on 695.
One time I was driving on 695 and there was this guy on, I love this. This is my favorite 695 story. There was this guy driving on the shoulder in like bumper to bumper traffic trying to like cut in, and no one was rightfully letting him in. And then he rolled his window down and pulled out a gun and pointed it at the car next to him, and that guy did let him in. So that's exciting.
See, that's what Kimi Antonelli can't do. See, back in my day, you could bring a gun onto an F1 circuit, and no one's gonna stop you.
I think
That's
depending on the
true.
circuit, you still could.
True. Miami, I'm sure they let you. It's all part of street racing.
Texas, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Those metal detectors at the Austin Grand Prix, I don't think work. But for whatever reason, I got past them every time, no issue.
Yeah.
And I
All
had
the
like a
guns in
camera
your
and stuff.
pocket.
Yeah, I had a bunch of grenades.
You're gonna shoot everyone with your camera.
Yeah, exactly. I had fireworks. It was great. Anyway, the finishing order for the Japanese Grand Prix was Antonelli, Piastri, Leclerc. That was our podium. Then Russell in fourth, Norris in fifth, Hamilton, Gasly, Verstappen, Lawson, Ocon. Those are the point scores. Followed by Hulk, Hadrow, Bortoletto, Lindblad, Sainz, Colapinto, Perez, Alonso, and Bottas. Behrman and Stroll did not finish. Behrman especially had a very scary crash. We'll talk about later. Excuse me. Wow. Good day for Kimi, Oscar, and Fernando Alonso fans, and it was a bad day for George Russell, Ollie Behrman, anyone who listened to my advice last week, and Red Bull fans. But before we get into that, let's start with Kimi. He's, like I said, the first teenager to lead the championship. It's his second career win. It wasn't easy for him. He qualified on pole, had another terrible start, got stuck behind Hamilton, then got stuck behind Leclerc, then got stuck behind Norris, and it took a bit to get past all these guys, Norris especially. Norris went into the pits, but didn't undercut Leclerc. Gasly pitted early, Russell pitted early, and then 30 seconds after Russell pitted, Behrman crashed and a safety car is brought out, gifting Antonelli a free pit stop and eventually the race win. The Mercedes in clean air is a monster. It's just, it can't be beat. But as we saw, when it gets stuck behind other cars, especially on a track like Suzuka where it's hard to overtake, it's not unbeatable. Russell in the other car, he did get really unlucky with that safety car timing after also having a bad start. Top three off the launch were Piastri, Leclerc, and Norris, and Russell couldn't recover higher than fourth. He did have a poor setup on the car, which cost him in qualifying, even though he qualified second, so did it really cost him? But clearly it hurt him in the race. I think the big takeaway from Mercedes here is that they're not invincible, but they're close to it. They were really fast. Kimi, especially once he got in clean air, was really fast. Russell, though, stuck behind other cars, couldn't do anything. And I think that's a combination of like the dirty air and also the track itself. It was a little harder to overtake. Not as hard as it was not as like impossible as it was last year. But definitely it wasn't like Australia or China where we had like over 100 overtakes.
Yeah, especially for the Mercedes, because they're advantaged on the straight lines. Suzuka doesn't have that many straight lines. Like, I mean, it was the whole thing in the race was like, okay, we're on the straight line. This is where everyone passes. So even if Russell passed there, he just lost so much time on the corner, so he couldn't recover.
Yeah, so the two biggest overtaking spots were on the straight and then at the end of 130R, which is at the end of the back straight. So the Ferraris below them did not meet my expectations at all. I led everyone astray last week when I said Ferrari was going to take it, and I was like, they're going to be great because no one can overtake, and they're going to pass everyone at the start. I was wrong. They were quick in the corners. like Dave mentioned, Mercedes was very fast in the straights, but not as much in the corners. But they were sitting ducks on the long straight, which did not or does not bode well for them next week in Miami, which has a bunch of long straights. Leclerc did get up on the podium, but Hamilton couldn't do anything and finished down in sixth. With all the hype and everything coming into the race, a lot of it by me, they didn't deliver. And I shouldn't be surprised because that's Ferrari. That's the Ferrari way, is to not deliver on the hype. But I don't think their championship hopes are necessarily shot. But with McLaren back in the picture, it's not going to get any easier for the team. Their starts are really good still, and so are their safety car restarts. So when it's like going from like building to like 0 to 100, they're good. So there's always a positive to take away. I think if they continue to develop the car and if they're allowed to develop the engine, which is a possibility, in these 5 weeks off, then they could maybe mount a comeback. Um, but I was
Or
wrong about them.
or if the regulations change a little bit and it's a little harder to overtake, they could have more of a chance. Which I'm sure we'll get to all the regulation controversies when we get there.
Yeah, so I talk about it with Behrman, specifically the safety aspect, but we'll talk about regulations then, and I'll talk about the engine thing. Uh, I'll talk about the engine thing right now. So there's this forget the acronym, but there's a rule in F1 where basically if the top team is at a certain threshold ahead of everyone else, the teams below them are allowed to develop their engine mid-season and try and catch up. Normally, you're not allowed to do that. So I saw some things that Mercedes might have reached that threshold, and everyone below them is going to be able to develop. But the FIA has to allow it, and I'm sure if that happens, they'll make a statement about it. But in these 5 weeks off, that's been a big kind of talking point: is how are the teams going to develop the cars going forward, especially when you can't test mid-season. Um, so, but with the engines, that would be a totally different. That's a whole different like scenario. And the FIA hasn't posted anything about that yet. They haven't said anything about that yet. But it has been talked about. And if they're talking about it for Ferrari, who are the second fastest, then obviously everyone below them is going to be allowed to develop. So that'd be the Ferrari engines, the Red Bull, Aston Martin, Honda, and Audi. Haas buys the Ferrari engine, and the McLaren and Alpine and Williams buy the Mercedes engine, so they can't develop the engine because it's not theirs.
I'd be surprised if they let them develop. Because Mercedes have looked good, but they're not like. McLaren looked way better last year, and they still had to fight for the drivers' championship. So, we'll see, but I don't think they'll let them do it. Maybe just to help with the regulation pain, they'll let them do it. But
Yeah, I
I
think they're
don't think
cleaning the
Mercedes is that
regulations
fast.
first before doing anything else. So that is speaking of McLaren, since you mentioned them, they seem to be back. We finally got both of their cars starting the race. So that's a huge improvement from the past 2 weeks. And they did well. Piastri especially was on top of it this weekend. He finished in second. Probably could have won the race if the safety car didn't play out like it did. After the race, he said, "Turns out when we start these things, we're pretty quick." Norris didn't do as well as Piastri, but he was still he was still fast, and they put in a much needed solid performance for the team. It's interesting to think about how the year looks if they start all three races. You know what I mean? Is
Yeah,
the
they
championship different?
definitely.
Are they better than Ferrari? Are they closer to Ferrari? They're definitely closer, but are they better?
They definitely made it way more interesting being in the mix. Like Mercedes didn't just have to pass the Ferraris; they had to pass the Ferraris and the McLarens to get in there. The race would have been so sick if that safety car didn't happen. Watching Piastri defend against Antonelli, but Antonelli just gets the free pass and it's all over. But
Yeah,
Piastri really showed out. He's had so much time to study. He redshirted the first two races. Really got the regulations under him, and he's all ready to go.
yeah, yeah. So he did really well. He was leading for a good amount. And I think if McLaren and Ferrari can keep ahead of Mercedes on the starts, a lot of the beginnings of these races are going to be very, very interesting. And we know from last year, the year before, that McLaren can develop a car, but they're also in the back foot in terms of understanding the engine compared to Mercedes. But despite that, I think they're going to give us some entertainment, some excitement as the year goes on.
Yeah, at least even if the Mercedes are way faster, instead of just getting Ferrari battles, we'll at least get Ferrari and McLaren battles up for that second place constructors.
Yeah, it'll be like 2023 when Max was ahead by a minute, so they were focusing on all the other people, all the midfield battles and stuff. It was great. So speaking of the midfield, Haas, they're still on top of the midfield. Right, Alpine and Red Bull are closing in. Alpine more so than Red Bull at the moment. But Japan was a bad race for the team. Japan did not go well for Haas. Ocon finished in 10th, and Behrman got knocked out in Q1, which was a surprise given his recent form. Then during the race, he had a really heavy crash. Um, so he was taking avoiding action while approaching Colapinto, who was charging his battery. Basically, Behrman was at full speed. Colapinto was going really, really slowly. Behrman had to dart out of the way, went off the track, and had a 50G crash into the wall. I saw that it was a 57-mile-an-hour difference between the cars, which is really crazy. Uh, and it's a danger of the regs. If you're going and you're deploying the battery, you're going full as as fast as the car can go, and you're coming up on someone who's recharging and going slow, the only thing you can do is swerve out of the way. And you're going to crash when you have to do that. If this was Jeddah or Baku or places with blind corners or no runoff, like, the blind corner of Uroge at Spa or any of the street circuits where there's no runoff, that crash is a lot more serious. I like someone if they raced at Jeddah and this happened, like I genuinely like someone probably could get like seriously injured. Behrman looked injured getting out of the car, but he just had a banged up knee. They did like a scan on it and everything, no fracture or anything, which is very good for him. So he just got a banged up knee. He's got 5 weeks to recover. And it's the biggest talking point out of the race right now. And the FIA earlier this week, they said they're going to evaluate the regs during the break. I don't really have high hopes that they're going to do anything because that's kind of the trend with them. Uh, and it's not just like the fans disagreeing with the FIA and the drivers disagreeing with the FIA and the regs. The drivers are disagreeing with their own teams on the regs. There's a lot of like the drivers association versus like the teams. There's a lot of, discussion, and some of the teams do like the regs, but the drivers don't. It's a huge mess right now. And if there's another crash like that, if this continues to be a huge mess, while the racing is entertaining, I think the big question is it worth it?
Yeah, as someone who has liked the regs better than last year, I mean this kind of killed it for me. There's not much the FIA can use to defend it because of there's the allegations of these are fake overtakes, and so if the FIA doesn't want that, then you can't say Colapinto shouldn't defend, because then it's just like, oh, if you're charging, the other guy's using his battery, you just have to let him pass. There's no racing there.
Well, Colapinto didn't defend. That's the whole point. I
He
had
kind
to
of like
swerve out of
moved.
the way.
Yeah, he kind of like moved in kind of late. That might have pushed Behrman off. But I mean
Well,
that.
but Dave, the problem is if you come around a blind corner like that, the car in front's not even going to see the car behind anyway, so
Yeah.
they can't defend or
Yeah,
move
I
out
mean,
of the way. You're guessing.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. The speed difference is so massive that the only thing you can do if you're charging, then for it to be safe, if you're charging, is just like get out of the racing line, which would be ridiculous.
But then if no one's coming, then you're out of the racing line and losing time.
Exactly. Like this speed difference is just too crazy to make any sense out of racing safely. And then also you're in Japan, you're using mushrooms, which is a whole different thing. But it just seems untenable to have this continue with this huge speed difference that would to race as fast as you can. These speed differences are going to happen, and there's no way to do that safely.
Right. Yeah, that's why when the FIA, sorry, when they posted that they're evaluating, they specifically mentioned it was because of the Behrman crash. So they are actively looking at like how to reduce that aspect. And I saw some like a bunch of comments on how like what they should do. Not really taking any of those comments seriously because these are just random people on the internet. And like, what are your credentials? But
Yeah,
we'll see what
it's kind
happens.
of.
They've got 5 weeks to decide, and they'll probably decide like the day before Miami.
Yeah. FIA, of course, are rooting for the Iranian war so they can get their regs in place. Um, but I mean, their biggest issues, they've already kind of fucked themselves because the cars are already made, and the whole point was to like help the teams develop things that could be for commercial use. And now it's like, okay, you've done that and it didn't work. What do you do? Like, do you just make the batteries like work less? Make
Yeah,
everyone
there's like
super
a
slow?
ratio where it's like I think right now it's like 50 battery, 50 something else, and you would change that to have less battery. Because the reason they have to recharge so much is because so much of the power comes from the battery, that you're using it way more, and the because you need it to be at full because it's half of your power. So you need your battery to be fully charged when you want to go fast. And so that's why there's all these that's why there's this like super clipping issue, which is basically they're going at full speed, they run out of battery, and the battery tries to recharge itself, and the car just kind of just downshifts, and it gets slower and slower while the battery's trying to, keep up. And that's why they're spending half these laps charging. So if you change that ratio to where they can use more engine over battery, how does that work? But can they even do that with the regs? I don't know. They took out the MGU 8. So that was like a big aspect of it. So you have to put that back in, but you can't put that back in without redesigning the whole engine and then redesigning the whole car. So it's like, is this year a wash? I don't know.
Yeah, no matter what they do, someone's gonna be mad. If they do nothing, people are gonna be mad. If they do something, someone's gonna get a disadvantage from it, and they're gonna be absolutely pissed off.
Well, yeah, Mercedes.
Yeah, probably Mercedes.
So the ones who are benefiting the most right now from these regs. And the drivers say they love it, but that's just because they're winning. Let's say McLaren is swap McLaren and Mercedes. Is George Russell loving the regs as much? Probably not.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even some of like Charles. Charles doesn't like the regs, and he's doing pretty well. A lot of the drivers don't like the regs, and I think that some of them don't like it because of this issue, of this safety issue.
Yeah.
And the reason the teams are liking it is because it benefits them. It's when we're changing things from a commercial use, they get more funding. They get the sponsors
Well,
are.
there's a cap.
I mean, well, I shouldn't say more funding, but the engine manufacturers are actually putting
Yeah.
their development to good use for other things
Yeah.
other than F1.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Lewis feels about these regs more into the year. Right now, he loves the regs, but that's just because he hated the last set of regs. He did not do well, as we all saw in the ground effect era. It didn't fit his style. These are more his style, but I wonder, halfway through the year, what are his opinions on the regs? How do they change? Because right now he loves them, but that's just because he can race again. So
Yeah. Talking about people who are not doing well in this regulations, I'm just guessing that Red Bull is next. Is Red Bull next?
no, Alpine's next.
Damn it.
Alpine. So damn it, that's your team.
That's my team. They're midfield. We did it.
They ended the
Yay.
race. They ended the race with some solid points from Gasly, bringing them even with Red Bull, who are in hell. Gasly and Verstappen were back and forth for a bit. Eventually, Gasly just went ahead and stayed ahead. Max knew he even had no chance. He literally waved goodbye to Gasly as he passed. That is a great clip. I recommend going and looking it up. In the other cars, Colapinto and Hadjar both finished outside of the points in poor races for them. Hadjar is now the lowest scoring driver between Red Bull and the Racing Bulls, so the curse of that second seat continues. Also, Dave, I totally lied. This is also about Red Bull. Red Bull needs to fix the car, and sports journalists need to stop posting Max Verstappen early retirement articles. He's not going to retire mid-season, and I can see him running out his contract through. That says 2026. That's supposed to say through 2028 when his contract actually expires. F1 pays and money talks. That's my take on the Max Verstappen early retirement. He has threatened retirement a lot. And then I think he sees how much money he makes in F1, and he's like, you know what? Probably worth it to ride it out a little bit, especially if they're gonna let him do these races on the Nürburgring. They're gonna let him do these other racing series or races. I don't think he's doing a whole another series. Then why would you leave if it's funding that and he has his race team and he can fund that with the F1 money? So I don't think he's gonna retire at the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed. I would be slightly surprised if he did retire, but maybe not as much as I would, let's say, last year. So, but I'm sick of the Max Verstappen early retirement articles. It's like, because there's nothing else to talk about, especially now. So it's all that we're gonna hear for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's only been 3 races. Like, give it a few more. I mean, I do know I've heard things like he's been a hater of these regulations since 2023.
Yeah.
So this has been he knows he doesn't like them, but we'll see if he can handle it or not. But it's only been 3 races. Like, give it some time. I wouldn't be that surprised though if he at the end of the year he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go do something, race somewhere else. I'd be super surprised if he just retired from racing. I don't think that's gonna happen, but
No, he's not gonna retire from racing. Thing is, his contract's through 2028, and there are like the rumored performance and exit clauses and stuff. But I could see him finishing out the contract. I like. There's a lot of he loses out on a significant amount of money. You know.
yeah. But if he hates it that much, I mean, if he's just hanging around
True.
P11 for 3 years, it might be a little tough for him.
We'll see. I mean, Red Bull did mount a comeback at the end of last year, so they also can develop a car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's only been 3 races. Also, poor
Yep.
Hadjar. Poor Hadjar. He's like doing pretty, compared with Max, like he's hanging his own. The car just kind of sucks.
Yeah. My solution for Red Bull, I mean, look, taking a midfield team and bringing them to the front, like a midfield team that has a good amount of funding, a good amount of backing, and being able to take them to the front. There is a former team principal out there that does have experience with that, who did that exact same thing, made this team into an eight-time championship winner. Christian Horner, I think he could maybe come back onto the grid.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
So, it wouldn't be the first time that Christian Horner came in when Red Bull was in the midfield team. So, if he wants to stop attempting to buy Alpine stock, then maybe Christian Horner can come back into Red Bull.
No, he needs to make the
Um,
League of Villains. We need the League of Villains team getting in there.
yeah, and
Making
I
me
think
want to burn my hat.
the Austrian side of the company Red Bull would have to all die. They hate him, so they would have to actually pass away, and that's not gonna happen. So, and if they all do mysteriously die, investigate Christian Horner. Yeah, poor Hadjar. That second Red Bull seat first continues the lowest scoring of them all. The Racing Bulls fell behind Red Bull, but only by 2 points. Lindblad was quick all weekend. He finished outside the points after starting in the points. He qualified in 10th. Lawson brought it home in 9th after a very rough qualifying. Some emotions from this team. And, they're behind Red Bull now instead of being tied with them. We'll see if they can, regain that position. Coming races. But,
And Lindblad's been looking good. I mean, he hasn't been like super consistent in his performances, but I mean, for a rookie driver, the only rookie driver on the entire grid, like
yeah.
he's been looking pretty good.
So let's say Verstappen retires at the end of this year. Do you put Lindblad or Lawson in the Red Bull?
Lindblad.
Yeah. I think me personally, I'd put Lawson, let Lindblad like hang out and develop a little bit
I'm with
more.
you on that. I'd put Lawson in for a year.
But I think Red Bull would just put Lindblad in. Like they
I think
want
Red Bull,
the big hitters up there.
yeah, but Lawson, I mean, has kind of had a turnaround. So obviously,
Yeah,
we'll
she looks
depend on how they're
competent.
doing at the end of the year. So, and if there's no Max, then you don't have the pressure of racing against Max. So we could see kind of how Lawson stacks up against Hadjar.
But I mean, Lindblad needs Mac there to fight against. That's his.
No.
He's had a good amount of fights with Max up in there.
So he's gonna be very fast. So I'm excited to see him win 8 world championships in a row in a few years.
Him and Kimmy are going to be up there fighting for the
Yeah.
next however long. If Red Bull can get their act together, Red Bull can make a car.
Yeah, if Ford can make a better
Yeah, it's going to be Lindblad, Kimmy, and of course Colapinto, just up there.
mm-hmm.
Top three of their era.
Uh-huh. Sure, man.
Yeah.
Sure, buddy. Took Colapinto over a year to get a point, by the way.
Yeah,
Not even
yeah, yeah.
points, plural.
It's going up. Okay, the line is going up.
Oh, it's plateauing currently.
It's one step up at a time. Okay.
Oh, anyway, below Racing Bulls, we had Audi. They had both cars start. Actually, everyone started this race, so not a single DNS. All of our DNS predictions were wrong, but oh well. Bortoleto was really quick in qualifying, but he dropped out of the points, while Hulkenberg never got up to the points. I think the weekend is a wash for the team, and they have plenty of points finishes ahead of them. They just got to figure out. There's this team principle thing they got to figure out, which we talked about last week. I'll Bortoleto, however, did completely take out a Cadillac engineer after the race while he was getting out of his car. So that was good. And also probably the most newsworthy thing the team did all weekend.
Ouch.
They're so boring right now. I mean, they're not bad enough to make fun of. They're not good enough to do anything. I don't think they've done anything all year so far.
And they also, and they're kind of leaderless right now, which is just like awkward. So they're probably purposely staying out of like publishing things and stuff until they figure that out.
I mean, just even racing too. They're like the
Yeah.
most forgotten team. Like, I mean, at least Cadillac is a new team, so they're kind of boring too. But they still, they get a pass. They get a pass because they're new. They're figuring stuff out. Paris didn't even know that there was a battery until the second race. So they did one thing.
Who's more forgotten, Audi or the team that finished in 5th last year, Williams, which
Oh
is
my
now
god.
in last or second to
Oh
last.
man, we don't need to talk about all that.
They had a disaster of a weekend. We're gonna talk about it. Albin hates the car. Sainz is a little more positive, but they had no real shot at the points. Albin took 6 pit stops in the race, which like at first I didn't notice because they didn't televise it at all. But eventually, like as he got towards the end of the race, he was like over a minute back. I'm like, what happened? So he took 6 pit stops, and the team was adjusting his front wing every single time. So you can like change. There's certain like you can change the angle on it. That's like there's certain things about it you can change. There's obviously you can't change the whole thing, but you can like change the angle or whatever. The team was adjusting it each time, and they basically used the race as another practice session, which is just brutal for someone who wants to race, having to like test out all these things. So we can forget for Williams as they leave with a lot of questions to answer about their big fat overweight car.
Hey, they're the best of the backfield teams, okay? They're the best of the worst. It's like, you got your top teams up there, midfield, like the back midfield, like Audi and all of them. And then just, the bottom 6 of qualifying is just going to be those 3 teams stacked up right next to each other.
Audi and Williams are tied right now.
Oh, really?
They
Well,
each have 2
wait.
points.
Oh, nice. Well, the past 2 races, yeah, no, Williams has been slow as hell. I can't believe they scored 2 points. That's incredible.
I know.
It was in.
I
It
mean,
was in China. No, it was the sprint, wasn't it?
was it?
Who scored
Or did
points?
Sainz
It
has
was
2 points?
Signs. Yeah.
It
I
was
can't remember
in
if it was first point.
it was in the China. He finished 10th in China.
Okay. I mean,
That's-
he believes he'll finish pole, so
That
at
is
least he
true.
believes.
They did post a video of someone asking him where they were going to qualify, and he said pole, and Alex Albon went
Yeah.
pole.
Yeah, Alex Albon was like dissociating after that statement.
It's a good video as well.
Well,
Pole
they're
position.
just the 3 bottom teams who can't get a car together. I can't believe So you know what? Sainz should get a medal. He should get a Purple Heart for getting 2 points.
Honestly, he
Hammond
should.
actually should get a Purple Heart for walking away from that crash.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very true.
So anyway, below them, Cadillac, they're vibing, they're finishing races like Dave said. No one's expecting them to be competitive this year, even if we all want them to be. But hey, they're doing better than Aston, who suck. That car is slow.
Whoa. Hold
can't
on a
drive it.
second. Hold on a second. They had achieved a huge milestone this week. Okay,
I'm getting
don't
there.
you?
Let me get there. Alonso finished the entire race. That's improvement. That's a first for the team.
Yay. Woo. I can't really clap on
Yay.
this mic on thing, but I'm
No,
doing
it's
it.
okay. They You finished the race. L plan, baby. L plan. It's all coming together. One step at a time. Stroll did not finish, but it's fine. Maybe Stroll Senior throwing more money at the team will fix everything. You know, just
Yeah.
maybe a little more money.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
get Alonso's newborn son in there.
We do know that
Yeah.
Stroll Senior does like nothing. Never mind.
Last time we talked about this, it took my video an hour to get through the community guidelines check, so let's relax. Because I don't want to wait that
We can move
long.
on. We can move
If
on.
you know, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we can't ignore like the real championship that's going on, the championship between, the Aston drivers.
hell
Yeah.
yeah, our own championship,
Their
which
their own little
Alonso's
championship.
which Alonso's winning.
But Stroll was ahead until his car broke down.
Yeah. So by default, though, Alonso's still winning.
Yeah. Alonso Stroll still has not outqualified Alonso in like 2 years, I think,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
He just needs it to rain.
Yeah, we haven't
Yep.
seen.
For some reason.
It still has not rained yet. We have not seen the Stroll in the rain. We need some
Dude, these
Strolly in the
regs
rain.
in the rain would be a disaster.
Oh my
goodness.
god!
Miami, it rains in Miami all the time. Miami's gonna be a mess. For more
I'm
than
actually
just,
kind of scared.
Yeah.
but we'll get to Miami very shortly here. But first, before I hand out the certified Ferrari moment, does anyone have anything else to say about this race? I know it was a while ago. I feel like a lot, at least for me and Hannah, has happened in these like 4 days. So
Yeah.
I have one thing to say. It's about my my thumbnail is the Yuki cams. Every now and again, they just show Yuki on the sideline looking at a screen, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can see on the screen next to him his face come up like on the delay. Just Yuki looking at Yuki. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
beautiful. And the whole cast of the Super Mario Galaxy movie was there. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were, which is really funny because they all say that the racing feels like Mario Kart, and they showed up.
Yeah.
dude,
Well, it's
the
supposed to be like
FIA
a
has to be so mad.
yeah. They were supposed to be like a cross promotion thing, and I think the FIA was like, maybe chill out a little bit on the Mario stuff.
It's so
We
funny.
got too much.
Do you think the FIA is more annoyed at the Mario Kart comparison because it makes the pinnacle of motorsport look childish, or are they scared of getting sued by Nintendo?
I think that they're just tired of people complaining about the regs. I don't
Yeah, I was
think it
gonna
has to
say
be Mario.
being sued by Nintendo.
Yeah,
Nintendo
they care
does
about
like
the
to
money.
sue.
They do. They do. Actually, we're gonna get sued for your thumbnail, but it's fine.
That's fine. It's my handwriting's terrible. You can't see this as Mario.
So that was the Japanese Grand Prix. It was fine. It was fine. It's fine. It was fine. The Bearman thing was it was really scary seeing him limp out of that car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
And it would have been good if he caused the safety car that kind of ruined the front end of the race too. How dare you, Bearman? How dare you?
Hey, lay
How
off
dare
my
you
boy.
specifically?
Yeah.
And
Killed your driver. Lay off.
Cole did nothing wrong.
well, actually, there's been a lot of hate directed at Colapinto because of it. To the
Yeah, I
point
mean,
where Alpine made a public statement that's like basically was like all the people hating on Colapinto, not cool. All of the Colapinto fans sending people death threats, not cool. Like we do not tolerate this. It's they were
you
like,
don't.
we didn't say anything last year when Colapinto's fans. This is not word for word what they said, but basically what they said was we didn't do anything last year when Colapinto fans sent death threats to other people. And that was a mistake. They literally were like, we didn't do anything last year when this started, and that was bad. So we're putting an end to it now, or we're trying to, or like enough. It was. I've never seen a team have. The teams have posted a lot about like online hate, especially when a driver gets hate or whatever. But usually it's very short. This was very long and very specific. I've never seen anything like that. So I don't think it'll do anything, but at least they did something.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is that the Filipino fans are going to invade the Faroe Islands and take it back.
Oh, cool. We could have another Top Gear special moment.
Mhm.
So anyway, when throwback to when Top Gear was ran out of, they were run out of the country basically. Anyway, this week's certified Ferrari moment is going to me. I'm giving it to myself for giving everybody Ferrari
Ooh.
hopium when I should have known better.
You have a
So
segment called Certified Ferrari Moment. Why would you ever give Ferrari hope?
I'd hope. I'll admit. I'll admit. I got caught up in the scarlet lights. I saw Lewis on that podium, and it felt like everything was right in the world again. And I was like, you know what, they can do it. And I was wrong, and I'm sorry.
That horse on their logo is just too damn sexy. I can't stay away.
So, what was Charles Leclerc's word for the year last year? Fulfillment.
Oh yeah, fulfillment.
A
So,
film.
all right, before we go into the pick the podium stats, I've got the 5-week break. Okay. The next race is in Miami. It's from May 1st to 3rd. It's a month away from over a month away from Japan. It's a month away, exactly, basically from now. This is a longer break than the summer break. The summer break is 3 weeks. But unlike the summer break, the teams will be allowed to work on the cars the entire time. However, there's no mid-season testing allowed. So all updates will be simulator only and be able to be tested on track in Miami. Now, technically, teams have a limited amount of filming days they can use for like promo, but during those filming days, you can do a maximum of 5 laps. That's it. You can only do 5 laps. So if you wanted to test an upgrade on a filming day, it's not really like you're not getting much out of it. Um, so there's no mid-season testing. So all of the simulator only updates will be tested on track in Miami, which is a sprint weekend and it's known to rain. So teams are going to get 1 hour to test 5 weeks of development. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I doubt it's going to be a
Chaos.
soft reset. And I think the teams are more or less going to be the same as they are now. I can see McLaren making some good progress. I can see Red Bull making some good progress. I think Haas and Alpine will improve, but probably not enough to get a podium. Williams and Aston over everyone will be relishing the opportunity as they have the most work to do clearly. But the thing is, if everyone improves, then nothing changes and no one improves. So, and again, any update can't be tested properly until Miami, which has 1 practice session. So I'm sure there's going to be a ton of rumors about who's done what, but the only way we'll know for sure is in 5 weeks when the teams hit the track in May in Miami.
And then we'll see
Uh,
if McLaren and Aston actually start the race.
Well, they did start the race in Japan.
Well, if they make the upgrades, I don't know if I
Oh, that's
trust them.
true. They might discover a new issue. It's a good point.
Just make some more problems, especially Aston. I don't trust them at all.
That's very fair. Pick the podium. All right, we have the pick the podium scores. Let me read those out for you. In first place, Sam has 90 points. I'm in second with 88, and Nat is in third with 70. Congratulations, Nat.
Woohoo!
Thanks.
Getting staying on the podium. In fourth, Nate and Hannah are actually tied with 68 apiece. Andrew's in sixth with 55
Wow.
points, and Dave with a solid 10. That's a
Double
solid 10.
digits, which is the
Yeah,
same
well, you've been
same
in
as last
double
week.
digits. So that's the pick the podium stats right there.
Yeah.
My stats, that's the standings, the stats here. I've got 2. The first is he's beginning to believe. Sam finally believes in Antonelli enough to pick him to win the race, and he was rewarded with the lead of the pick podium standings for the first time since Mexico of last year. That was the last time Sam led. And then I was the alpha, I was the leader. 5 of us, me, Andrew, Sam, Hannah, and Nat, all had Russ on the podium, and all of us were let down. Andrew, Hannah, and Nat even had him winning.
Yeah.
Sad, woo.
Very, very sad.
I'll never make such a mistake.
No, that
He
is for
would.
sure. That is certain. I'm excited for your pick coming into Miami. So you've got high expectations.
I got a long time to think about who is the hottest in a banana hammock.
Well, Valerie so Bottas #1.
Yeah, Bottas is looking pretty good. I mean, I think last time I had something similar. I think I had Hulk in there because he's very he's got some nice hair.
You want to know? Let's find your picks for Miami. You had Sainz, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, and you also
Yep.
predicted that George Russell's car would explode.
You know what? It might be the same this year.
I remember that.
It did it. It did it, but I was close. Okay, it did like
did.
2 weeks after, something like that.
Yeah. So that's the show. We're off for 3 weeks. Our next official show on the schedule is the Miami preview on April 30th. However, in these next 3 weeks, we may or may not do a fun little episode in between. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. And if we do, it won't be next week. It'll be the week after anyway. So we all get a week off at the very least.
Woo!
So
Another
Sweet.
fanfic episode.
no, summer break only.
Oh.
Unless Hannah, you want to give your book report on the book you just
Oh
finished.
yeah. I just finished reading this very interesting book. It's called Pole Position. It is
Ooh,
a it is basically a F1 fan fiction, but it's an actual published book. Originally I thought the drivers, and they aren't based off of anyone supposedly, but I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, when I got maybe 3/4 through the book, I think it's actually Max and Lando Norris, which is really funny. But very cringe, I read it on an airplane, which made it 10 times better. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. All right.
We have
Oh.
a copy if anyone wants to borrow it.
We do have a copy.
Is it hardcover?
It's
Nope,
not
paperback.
hardcover.
I just
I
not
don't
surprised
think
me
they
if I'm
have a
disappointed
hard.
anyway. Why
So
would
for some reason, Dave, I don't trust you with this copy of the book.
God,
I need to make some thumbnails out of it. It's just get ideas of how.
I can send it to you.
If you look at my last smut thumbnail, I don't know if I know how people kiss.
Oh no.
That one never got used.
No, it's still
I'm
there.
scared.
That never got posted.
it's ready. It's ready.
You made the
No.
You made the mistake of offering an alternate.
I did offer an alternate because
So-
Bottas is hot as hell.
Let's see if let me scroll up and see if I can find it. That'll be the last thing we do here. Even though the video can't even see this. There it is.
It is giant bee stings for lips, is what it is.
Oh no.
There we go. I just
Also-
posted it.
Perfect.
Oh,
Quick shout out. Oh my lord.
no.
it's pretty hot.
No.
It's pretty
This is
hot.
after Canada,
I'm
I think.
so
This was
uncomfortable.
after Canada.
It was like they crashed into
So
each other.
beautiful.
Oh
It's
my
actually
Yeah.
so beautiful.
The
You
lips
can
are
see it.
so big.
You can see their tongues move around their mouths. That's what the cheeks are.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like I have to show this on. We'll end with this here.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
They're making up and making out.
in all of its glory. So that is, you know what? That's the show. Let's
We'll end it there.
We'll let everyone look at it. Thanks for being here, guys, and good night.